So a couple of weeks ago, I watched Damsel on Netflix. I'm just now getting around to making a video about it because I had to think on it for a minute. I like the movie, but it left me with a lot of questions. But before I get to those questions, here's a message from me. So a few years ago, I did a thing. I wrote a novel titled The Fairy Princess Enter into Time. You can see the fairy princess here on my t-shirt. The book is about a young girl from the south side of Chicago who discovers she's a fairy princess. Her godmother is kidnapped and she must learn how to use her powers while trying to save her. The book is available on Amazon and Rakuten Kobo. T-shirts and other merch are available on my website, thefairyprincess.net. Links are in the description. So, Damsel, kick-ass girl power movie from Millie Bobby Brown. She starts off the movie showing how resourceful she is and what she's willing to do to help her people. Almost immediately, a kingdom she's never heard of asks for her hand in marriage for their prince. So I guess because of the time period and distance, they would have never heard of how women go to that kingdom and just disappear. Also, since it happens only once a generation, the people involved could have died out by the time the kingdom is looking for another princess. So Princess Millie Bobby Brown travels to this distant kingdom and encounters these horrific dragon statues and never questions what are their purpose, why are these statues there. She arrives and there's where my questions start. First, the girl Millie saw when she went out onto her balcony. Was she on her way to her wedding in the evening? Millie got married during the day and went straight from her wedding to the mountain with the dragon. Why was there overlap between her and the other girl? Did they tell her father what was going to happen? He looked very guilty after meeting with the queen, as if he knew he was selling his daughter as a sacrifice. He also blocked his wife from warning Millie about getting married. At the beginning of the movie, it was obvious that the soldiers had killed dragon babies, and that is where the dragon's wrath originated from. But why couldn't the dragon have more babies? She had lived for centuries and already went through dragon menopause? Why were those the only babies she could have? So the kingdom had been lying to the dragon for centuries, setting up innocent girls to die for them. But when did their lies start? Did it start later, after the king had already sacrificed his 3 daughters? Or did he start lying immediately and send 3 other girls to die in his daughter's place? Why didn't this dragon question how the girls were presented to her? Why did she just accept that they sent their daughters to her one at a time instead of all at once? Also, did she never question that every generation seemed to have 3 daughters to sacrifice? How much time had elapsed between Millie's marriage and her father coming to rescue her? It seemed as if he had time to take the money that was given to him and had brand new armor made for him and hired knights and a guide to take him to her. That should have taken a couple of weeks at least. Also, wasn't Millie the 3rd girl to marry the prince? After she and her sister didn't die, how did they have time to seek out another kingdom for a princess and bring her there? And did they tell those parents the truth like it seemed they told Millie's dad? They looked clueless at the wedding, while he seemed to know what was going to happen. And were Millie's stepmother and sister just chilling on the ship all that time waiting for the father and Millie to come back? Why didn't the kingdom make them leave? Now, onto Millie's adventure inside the mountain. I knew she would have to either convince the dragon of the truth or kill it. I expected her to kill it. It was a nice flip in the end for them to team up. But in the centuries that this has been going on, no one else had figured out what was going on and tried to convince the talking dragon of their innocence. I mean, these girls found a safe place to hide, made maps of all the caves, and almost escaped to freedom. After all that resourcefulness, none of them thought, let's try talking to the dragon before I starve to death. So yeah, I had a lot of questions. I needed a few more dots to be connected before this was a satisfactory story. But I will admit it was enjoyable to watch. I hear there's going to be a sequel. Wonder what will happen in it. Me personally, if I had befriended a dragon, I wouldn't be afraid of shit. I would just go get my new best friend, the dragon, to come burn down all my enemies. But that's just me. So, did you like Damsel? Tell me what you thought of it in the comments down below. Don't forget to like, share, subscribe, and hit the bell notification to know the next time I upload or go live.